What's up, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of Flix and Six.
Whoop.
Tonight, we are painfully talking about the Netflix original The Titan, which was directed by Leonard Ruff. I don't know if I'm saying that right at all.
I don't even know who.
Good enough.
But that's who made the movie.
Sorry.
And we're pretty excited to talk about it, I guess.
Not really, but
No,
we'll go with
not at
that.
all.
Well, let's
I'm
fire it
excited
up.
to rip it up.
Yeah, all right. Well, let's get into it, you guys. I'm Jeremy Miller,
Michael Harness.
Tommy Lagan.
Max Capper.
and this is Flix and Six. As we said up top, tonight we're going to be talking about The Titan, which is a Netflix original, and it was directed by Leonard Ruff, written by Max Hurwitz. No offense, Max.
Ashamed of
Thank
that
you,
namesake.
Carrie. Carrie's in the studio tonight, and she's going to be off screen, but eventually she's going to be on here as a guest. Yeah. Is that right? That's right. She's excited, you guys.
She's pumped.
So here's how it's going to go. We each get a minute to say whether or not we like the film, and then talk about why we did or did not like the film. And then if you guys want to stick around afterwards and hear us riff on the movie for a while, we're going to do that too. If you want to stick around for just the 6 minutes, be our guest, okay? Our intention is to tell you whether or not you should spend your time watching this movie on Netflix. Right, guys?
That's
Yes.
right. That's right.
Okay. Off-screen, Carrie's soda just exploded everywhere.
Down her throat.
Okay, so Carrie, who's going first tonight? Michael, you ready?
Yeah, someone want to hit my own timer here?
I got a timer.
Oh, you
Tom's
got
got
a
you.
timer? All right.
Give him a countdown, though, Tom.
3, 2, 1, go.
Hated it. I watched it about a week and a half ago. Other than like the two pretty A-list celebrities, like I honestly thought it started out in a way that was very similar to Aquaman, where I was like, okay, maybe. And just as it progressed and got longer and went deeper, I was like, nope. This is not at all what I expected. The trailer was very enticing. I will say that. That hooked me in. I was like, oh, that's why I voted for it. But I honestly don't need a whole minute because it was not good. And I would not recommend this movie to anyone. And that's that.
All right.
That's a thumbs down from Michael.
Yeah.
Big thumbs down.
37 seconds. Nice.
Nice
Yeah.
job, Michael.
Yeah.
See, we're getting good at this, y'all. Okay, Carrie, who's going next? Tom.
All right. I'll time myself.
Okay.
3, 2, 1, go. Didn't like it either. I watched the trailer and was like, okay, it looked visually pleasing. And, you know, I like sci-fi, futuristic movies, apocalyptic stuff. And this movie just slaughtered that entire genre, and it was just such a fucking mess the entire time. The concept just didn't make sense. It didn't hit home. And I was just, I have so many notes of quotes and lines that just were just terrible. And the entire movie, I just couldn't wait for it to end. I literally kept checking the time. I'm like, oh my God, when is this over? When is this over? So I absolutely don't recommend it. Don't waste your time with this one, guys. It sucks.
Boom. Well done, Tom.
Oh, wow.
At 59.
That was pretty perfect.
Nice.
Okay, who's
Yeah.
next? Maximus. All right, get him on the clock. You ready, Max?
Ready.
Fire him up, Tom.
Fire me up, Tom.
3, 2, 1, go.
This was an affront to all sci-fi movies.
Damn.
It was terrible. God, what a turd this was. It was poorly acted. The science in it did not make sense at all. The villain was a 6-year-old child at best. It was terrible. I just didn't think any of it made sense. Visually, some of it was okay. The last bit was, I don't want to remember it. It could have ended 35 minutes earlier and it still would have been shit. That's my minute.
Very true.
Damn.
Damn.
40 seconds.
40 seconds, not
well
bad.
done, Max.
That leaves you, Jeremy.
Okay.
Ready?
Yeah, you got me on a clock?
You're on the clock.
Start
3,
me.
2, 1, go.
Like my co-hosts, I also agree that this movie is just class A shit. And here's the thing is that I've seen it twice now. painfully. The first time, the first 20 minutes, I was like, you know what, guys? Like, this could be cool. This is all right, you know? Very quickly did I realize that it was all a ruse, okay? Its main problems are that it's trying to tell way too many stories at the same time. It can't decide on a genre. Sam Worthington, I mean, it's like pretty obvious by now that the guy can't really act.
Wonder Bread.
You know, he's there and he holds space, but
Avatar guy.
yeah, from Avatar and fucking Clash of the Titans remake and you know
Terminator Salvation.
Yeah, and the guy just can't seem to bring it. It doesn't leave anything to mystery. It tells us everything. It's super obvious. It's very bland. It doesn't really make a lot of sense, and overall, just kind of sucks. That's my take.
Boom.
I went over.
It's okay.
1 second.
With
1
the
second
breath.
over.
Yeah.
So I guess the general consensus here at Flix and Six is just thumbs down all around, or what?
God,
Terrible.
no.
2 each?
Terrible.
2 each.
Two each.
If I could do it with my toes, I would.
Oh man, 2 thumbs, 2 toes down from everybody here in the studio.
Don't see it. Piece of trash.
Now here's what I will say for because it's okay to like a movie.
Yeah.
If you guys like this movie, that's fine. You can fight with us in the comments. We welcome that.
Yeah.
We want that.
Yeah.
But here's what I'll also
Changed my
say.
mind.
I could see this movie being something you watch, like, you're scrolling, and you're like, you know what? Like, I don't know, maybe some of y'all drink out there and you wake up and you're really hungover and you're like, I just want something mindless.
Yeah.
Something that's just kind of I can put on in the background, This could be that movie,
No, totally.
but even then, it's a little bit of a stretch.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No.
you could like look up every once in a while on Instagram and be like, oh, that looked
No,
kind of cool.
not even then, huh?
I'd be like,
Okay,
wow.
Carrie's also
was
giving
that?
it some thumbs down over there.
Entertained watching Tiny Homes on Netflix.
Tiny Homes.
That's a great
Got
show.
it.
Okay, so watch Tiny
that is a good
Homes
show.
instead of the Titan. Now that's our 6 minutes, you guys. Okay, so the consensus is do not see this movie.
Nope.
Thumbs down. Now that we've
Terrible.
gotten that out of the way, if you've only got 6 minutes to give us, get out of here. Go to Netflix and watch Bandersnatch, the Black Mirror special event.
We like that one.
See our episode on that. It's awesome. Okay.
so good.
Like and subscribe to the channel. Comment below if you disagree with us or if you agree that this was a heaping piece of shit. Let us know that we're onto something here. Now, we're going to jump into the full episode. We're going to be talking about the entire movie. Spoilers, I guess.
Yeah, lots of
if
spoilers.
There's even anything to really spoil.
There's nothing to spoil,
Yeah.
but
We're going to start talking about it
term
now.
Spoilers.
Okay? Now, here's the hardest part about tonight's episode. Where to even start with why this movie sucked.
I'll start it off with a good thing.
Okay.
The one redeeming thing I thought about this movie was Taylor Schilling's performance. I thought she was good.
She was
She's
awesome.
a great actress.
She's a great
I love
actress.
Her.
Yeah.
She's
That's
great.
what made me was like, oh, this might be okay. No,
And she acted her shitty part well.
She's the wife.
she's the wife.
Yeah, Taylor Schilling is a gem. I'm really excited for her career because, she's done Orange is the New Black. She got a lot of acclaim for that.
Yeah.
Well-deserved
Yeah.
acclaim.
Yeah.
I haven't really seen her in much else. She was in
There's one-
Argo. She was in Argo, the Ben Affleck flick.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
guys remember that?
I forgot
Oh,
about
yeah.
that.
And that's a good movie.
Yeah.
That's a good movie,
good.
dude.
I know.
But
I just don't think any of the direction with any of the acting was good. I mean, I felt like with the direction she was given, she did what she could.
Yeah.
But there wasn't. God, there was just so many lines and so many
It was sloppy.
points in her character where it was like, why? Like, what? Like,
Well, and here's
She knows
what.
way too much
Here's-
about
Yeah.
everything that's going
Well,
on.
yeah, and I mean, we'll go into the character, right? But her as an actor, I thought she, to your point, did a fantastic job. It's like if you give someone a heaping pile of shit and you say somehow turn this into tonight's dinner,
Yeah.
right? She got closer than anybody else.
She
in this
coded it
fucking
in
thing.
gold leaf.
You know what I
good.
mean? Like I'd consider eating that supper if it's literally the only thing in front of me.
I just thought
All right.
she did a good job looking pretty. That's,
She's very pretty.
I'll give her that.
Yeah, she's very pretty. Can we talk about Sam?
Oh gosh.
Okay.
He's human Wonder
He
Bread.
should have worked out a little bit before this role. Don't you
my
think?
God. See, this is what I'm
Right?
I miss.
I mean, it's
oh,
the
you know what?
military.
As of this Wednesday, I'll be able to like come home and like watch it with you guys.
Oh, nice.
So that'll
Wait,
be
what?
nice.
Next Wednesday, yeah.
Why?
Yeah, next Wednesday.
We
We're
got
doing a little. There's
Bullshit.
a little switcheroo.
A little switcheroo of some stuff. It's
Yeah.
good.
Let me throw out a disclaimer to the audience. Okay, our audience is building. You guys, we all work together. Okay, so we all work together, and that's what we were talking about.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
that's
sorry.
really good news.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Because
awesome.
honestly, that's the thing I was like thinking on the way home. I was like, everyone's gonna be just fresh, like kind of off the boat watching it, but I haven't seen it since I just randomly put it on, and you and I.
Yeah, that
watched
was
it,
last
like,
week.
almost 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be like replaying for me.
Well, here's what I'll say about Sam Worthington, okay, is that, I mean, the Clash of the Titans remake was wrong for so many reasons because the original is just absolute gold, okay?
It really is. Yeah.
It really is. And Avatar, like, and this might catch me some shit on the internet, you know? It's good, right? And what James Cameron did was good. But Sam Worthington is just really kind of an empty guy.
Charmless.
There's nothing to him.
He had a couple good moments. In
He's a
Avatar.
vegetable. See, this is why we need you on the mic. Vegetable lasagna.
Charmless,
Yes.
she's saying. Yeah.
Charmless.
Yeah.
That's absolutely true.
Flat. Charmless.
Flat.
for sure.
Flat.
It was like watching Jeb Bush turn into a fish for 2 hours.
Right.
Fucking
You need to be over here.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think a
he's
lot
terrible.
of the reason I liked Avatar because of him, not because of him, because it wasn't actually him. I didn't have to look at him. I don't know if it's like a visual thing, but it's like I know the acting is still there. I loved Avatar.
Well, I mean,
His performance didn't bother me in Avatar.
because there's not much to it.
Yeah.
I mean,
There's nothing there.
He
Right,
did
it's-
what he did what he needed to do.
It's a guy like trying to figure out
Military
what to
guy.
do, and as an actor, anytime he's on screen, I feel like I'm watching someone try and figure out how to act.
I didn't get that, but
In
it's
Avatar?
a different movie.
Yeah, because
Oh, I didn't get
Avatar,
that
they like plug in the USB thing
Yeah.
and like download him into the Avatar, right?
Right.
And then he's like, "Whoa, how do I like use this body? Like, what if I run? Oh, whoa, I'm running!" And he's just like figuring out. And in Avatar, right? Like if you take away the mocap suit, right? He's just voice acting, right? So it's not like you need a lot of steez,
Oh,
you know.
because he's a paraplegic in that movie, right?
Yeah, he's just sitting in a chair half the time, and the other not even
Or in
like
a bed.
10% of the time he's just sitting there, and then the other time he's like behind this big blue thing that like is distracting you entirely from everything else. So like fucking, it's not some massive achievement to me.
And now he's doing Titans.
And now he's in the
He's
Titan.
literally
Yeah.
being turned into.
Yeah,
the
so
gray
here's-
Avatar.
Here's the premise of this
A
fucking
Titan
thing.
avatar.
Okay, I think the year is 2048.
Yes.
No, that's right. Yep.
That's correct.
We looked it up.
And Earth is fucked, because Earth is always
Resources.
fucked in every sci-fi movie.
Overpopulated.
right? No
The planet's
resources.
resources are running out.
We're going
and
hungry.
They need to figure out some
They
sort of
estimated
plan.
like in 10 years, half the population will die of like starvation or something.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
People are fighting over the last
Yeah.
little chip.
Yeah,
You
dude.
know?
The last of the
Yeah, they all live in
Twinkies.
mansions,
Yeah.
but that's okay.
Yeah, so the Earth's fucked, right? And so now we've got to like leave.
Yeah.
Okay. So we decide that of all the planets out there, the one that also has an atmosphere, which I'm pretty sure is wrong, by the way. I'm pretty sure Mars has an atmosphere.
Not so much.
Not really.
So
Not one we could live on.
Well, neither does
Titan.
Titan. But- so we decide to go to
There's water on Titan, though.
Okay, there's water. You're right. Is
Right?
there water,
There's,
Max?
There's ice, but I'm pretty sure
That's
they
why
were
they're doing, like, the-
breeding them so that they could live swim in the methane water. 'Cause,
Yeah.
like the water's like
because
full
they
of
had them
methane.
like hooked up to like methane
like,
and like
super
in the
weird.
water, but they're like swimming and like having.
It's just not a good idea. You know,
I'm looking
like
it up.
this whole idea
Yeah.
was insane.
so they
This
decide.
is so
It's
dumb.
it's literally the first search result when I put does Titan, and the second thing is does Titan have an atmosphere? So
People
other
are out there
curious.
Googling. Yeah.
People are pissed about
But
this.
reading
so
about
so
it.
NATO and the world's greatest minds decide that we should, genetically modify human beings so that we can go to Jupiter's moon, one of them,
Saturn's
Saturn.
I'm sorry,
Saturn,
Saturn's moon, Titan. And if this goes well, we send a couple of people up there, and then we send a couple more,
This
and then we
goes
can
well.
move, right?
Yeah.
We can move. And so the movie decides that the most interesting story to tell, given all this, is how these people adapt to their genetic modification. Now,
How you stay married to a fish?
you can't.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
That was like the relationship.
Yeah, so
What is
they're
this, the shape
they're
of you?
showing them go through the modification,
Yeah.
and then it switches gears to like a military government conspiracy type movie.
The cameras in the house.
Yeah, there's cameras in the house. You know, they're watching us, and it's like, yeah, I mean that makes perfect sense. What are you talking about? You're a fucking science experiment right now.
Yeah.
You're gonna have eyes on you.
Yeah.
You know, and then it turns into kind of a creature horror flick for like 8 minutes, and then it turns into like a lost love story slash like finally a sci-fi movie, and then you know he ends up going to this fucking moon by himself, and
They don't
everyone,
even show it.
They don't
either.
even
They
show
just
it.
show him end up there.
and that's my
at
point,
the end.
right?
She
Like
just looked up and he's there.
It's ridiculous.
yeah, and like by the way, by the time he gets there, she and her kid are long fucking dead. Right? Like it's not
Oh,
like
yeah,
you can
yeah.
fucking go on southwest.com, buy a one-way ticket to fucking Titan
Yeah.
and get there in like the next time zone, right?
No,
This
no,
shit's
no.
got to take like I'm not a scientist or astrophysicist if you guys didn't know. But
you
I'm pretty
sure?
sure I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
I'm almost positive it would take at least like I don't know 10 years to
Yeah.
get out there.
20?
Nah, I'd say 10 or less.
10
or
or
less?
less?
Looking.
It's
Google how-
2048 though.
Actually,
I
there
mean,
was some validity to the,
the technology-
possibility of inhabiting it. By the way,
I believe that.
yeah, I'm just saying. I looked it up.
Okay, good. Thank you,
How long would it
Michael.
take to-
But
It's-
that of all the stories to tell, we spend an hour and a half telling how these people adapt to their genetic modification. I was cool with like the
Montage.
first act, right? You take, excuse me, the first act of the movie. You tell the story about how we're genetically modifying ourselves so that we can survive on Titan, right? But then show me getting us to fucking Titan. And then like when we get there, what the hell goes on? That's what I want to see. That's the movie I
That
wanted.
was a better movie.
Right, but
I was
instead,
thinking I was going to get that movie. I was like, okay, so we're getting through this little growing pains thing, and we're going to get to Titan, and then, you know, everything's going to fall apart when we get there.
Right.
But it fell apart way too soon, and
Yeah.
it was just like, blah.
yeah, like this movie could have been summed up in like 30 minutes, right? And then it's like, okay, like because you always come into the story once all the tests are done. And we know what does or doesn't work, so that then we can send the fucking people and like, oh my god, I hope we're gonna make it, right?
I feel like there was like a story about ethics in here somewhere, about like the ethics
Yeah.
of this forced evolution.
Playing God,
Right.
But they never really dove into it. If they had committed to that story, it could have been good. If
I
they
agree.
had committed to that being the theme of this movie and the struggle and the dynamic between this guy who's like essentially playing God
There-
with these people,
I mean,
it could have been good.
'Cause there was
There's
like that whole
so much
meeting
more
scene.
that needed to change
Yeah.
for this movie to be good, though.
Yeah.
But I see what you're saying.
Nah. Thank you, sir.
It would take anywhere between 3 and 6 years. There's no definitive answer.
because we haven't been there yet.
No,
All
it
right,
said
so
there-
we're
Well, no definitive answer because we haven't been there yet.
No, there's been crafts go there. They're just all different times, different time amounts.
But what's not? Because you said it's not definitive.
Because I'm just saying it's not definitive because there's multiple different crafts that went there.
Oh, I understand.
That got there in different times. So the least was 3, and the most was like 6 years and 9 months.
Got
so
it.
There's no real answer.
So we'll split the difference and call it 4.5.
Yeah.
Okay,
4.5
so I guess she'd
years.
still be alive.
Yeah.
she
I guess. I
That's what I
mean,
was hoping you get
she'd
out
be
of it.
We'll
alive.
rewind.
If they didn't
She'd
starve
be
to death.
alive, but still.
she would have aged
You
a
just
little
end
bit.
up there-
That kid was definitely still 6 at the end of this fucking movie.
Yeah, he
Right.
was.
Oh,
And
yeah.
He was fully on Titan, and the kid didn't age a day.
Not a day,
I don't
dude.
even remember.
Maybe they have some super crazy, faster, like what
It's 2048.
spacecraft? I
Yeah,
don't know.
maybe they do.
I don't know.
I would
Maybe
hope
they
so.
don't
I
know.
mean, we're out of food, but we can get people to Titan fast. So
Got
I
an
guess that's
FTL
good.
drive.
Yeah, that's
and then everyone
that's
lives
what's
in
happening.
identical mansions next to each other on this base. Or were they on an island? They were on an island.
No, they were in South America.
Yeah,
somewhere.
they
South
were
America?
definitely
Yeah,
in
yeah.
South
I
America.
feel like it showed like an island at one point. And I'm
No,
like,
they went.
There was a lake.
They went up to a lake.
oh, is that what
Yeah,
it
they went up
was?
Yeah.
to
They
like
just
a
made it
lake.
look like it?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I think they were in like Argentina. or
Yeah,
something
because
like that.
the general dude,
Yeah. Colombia.
Colombia,
Was it
yeah.
Colombia?
Yeah, it was
'Cause,
Colombia.
yeah, the general's like, I do not kill innocent man or innocent woman. And then, oh my God,
Out of
we'll get to
nowhere.
that fucking scene, dude.
I hope we get there.
Yeah, so this movie's trying to be a ton of different things at the same time, and it's
Right.
like, God damn it, dude, just fucking pick one, man.
Pick a lane, dude.
Like, you know what? You know, honestly, what this movie made me feel inside is like, okay, rather than sit and watch this shit for an hour and a half with my thumb up my butt, right? Why am I not just watching Interstellar, which is essentially the same story but told beautifully?
Yeah,
I
more or less, yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I wanted Interstellar.
We should watch
I
Interstellar.
even commented. I
Dude.
was like, remember, I was like, yeah, the thing about these homes is Interstellar did it so well. Like, it was in the future and the homes looked modern, but they looked worn in. These places looked like they were just made, and it was just one of those little things that just
like a
really
state-of-the-art
pissed
NATO
me
base.
off, you know? It just didn't have a good feel. It was just super fake.
No, I thought they were like in like Beverly Hills.
Yeah.
It looked like Beverly
It
Hills.
was like Hollywood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, where are they?
We're
Yeah.
the Kardashians. Where's
Yeah,
Beyonce?
they're in the hills. They're in the hills.
Yeah, so another thing that really doesn't work with this plot is like, okay, so basically Sam Worthington, amongst like 8 or 9 other people, were chosen to be part of this experiment.
Yeah.
Right? Because these are people that have undergone dire circumstances and somehow made it out the other side.
Was that the basis?
That was the basis, yeah. And so, you know, they bring them in, and then, Tom, you made this point beautifully when we were watching the movie. Basically, like, they all show up, right? And the doctor guy, Tom Willington's character, what?
Yeah. Doctor whatever.
Doctor,
Martin something.
The villain.
the villain, the antagonist
Villain, yeah.
somehow.
Villain.
Yeah.
Whatever.
He's like, Earth is now dire and desperate for food, and everybody's dying. And he's
Yeah,
like giving this
all
whole
these
like
news clips.
yeah, and
all
this whole this
crap.
whole PowerPoint fucking thing.
Yeah.
telling them, and they're like, yeah, bro, we know that's why we're here. And so they're all kind of looking at each other like, hey, man, this fucking guy's like telling us a bunch of shit we already know. But we, the audience, are like,
Oh, we're like, yeah,
oh,
we're
is that
learning.
what's going on?
Yeah, we're like dying to
cool.
know.
Oh my God.
You know, and it's like this like fancy PowerPoint. And it's like, really, dude? You got to just fucking slap me in the face with what's going on right now? You can't just
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
give me a fucking 30-second montage.
Right.
With him doing a voiceover. Better yet, get Morgan Freeman to do it because goddamn his
God, he's
voiceover
the
works.
best.
Silk.
Right?
And
And
then
then
that
it's
would have
like,
made the antagonist part so much better.
dude, you know, give me it as a fucking monologue, you know, with a little mashup of all the shit, and then show me all these guys like, dude, how
Yeah,
crazy
this
is
is
it that
real.
we're out of food, you know? Like,
Yeah.
thank God we're going to Titan, you know?
Yeah.
But instead, it's just like, let's take 15 minutes to explain to you what everybody in the movie already knows.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that
the
briefing
part,
scene was very long.
The briefing scene, it just did not play well at all because you're, as the viewer, you're kind of learning about, you're learning basically the, you know, what the whole movie's going to be, and it's happened so fast, and you're kind of interested, but their response to like this genetic enhancement, they're just kind of just sitting back, like, yeah, cool, and like us, like. For me to like buy into it, I need them to like react as characters, being like, "Oh man, I don't know if this is a good idea," or like give some sort of flack, or like, you know, look scared or feel some sort of way. But they were just all sitting back because they already knew what was going on and they're signed up. And me as the viewer is like, I don't even care about you
There was
because
that
you're not
one
They had.
reacting.
I was gonna say they had that one
pretty
tropey
boy.
cynic
Yeah.
who just like
Man.
played that part.
So
Just for
tropey, dude.
for just a second,
he
and
was.
then you're
Yeah.
like, shut up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
it didn't last long.
Sam Worthington had some of his finest acting.
Oh, yeah. He
and
shut
the
him down.
tropey dude, like he like takes his glasses off, you know, and he's like, excuse me, doctor, don't you think that it's a little weird that you think all this is gonna work? And the doctor's like, actually, I don't, and that's why you're here. And he's like, yeah, but like, I'm just saying, I don't think this is gonna work, and like, I don't know about it. And then Sam Worthington's like, hey, you have kids? And he's like, no. And he's like, and shut the fuck up. Carry on. Right? And I was like, what?
So
Why?
bad.
Why is any of that happening in this movie? Like, I get there needs to be like some contention, but it could have been like, hey, dude, like, are we gonna fucking die doing this? And Tom Wilkinson could be like, yes, people are going to die, and then the stakes are up, right? But they like kind of brush it aside, like, no, dude, like, I mean, like, people will get kind of sick, but like, it'll be cool though, you know. Instead, tell me, like, no, dude. Some of you are going to go home in a fucking body bag, and then it's like,
let's see you commit.
Shit, like,
they spent so much time in that base home when they could have spent a lot more time building up the state of the planet to make us actually give a fuck about like Earth, you know, like in this, you know, 2048, like what's happening. It's like, God, they should have shown so much more there to like build up the suspense. Like, we need to do this thing.
Right.
We need to like think way outside of the box. And my first thought was like, okay, well, like, just give everyone a shot so they can't reproduce for that entire generation. Doesn't that solve the fucking problem? You know, like, why don't they just do that instead of like completely changing the human race into this weird bat fish fucking creature? You know,
fish. That's pretty.
This
that's
bat,
pretty good.
this bat,
flying squirrel
this
fish.
flying squirrel bat fish. You know, like, that's the good idea. So we can go live on Titan and not even talk and have tentacles come out of our finger. It's like, no, man. Let's just, you know, let's just cut the baby making for like an entire generation. The population will go down, and you know, maybe that'll work. You know, it's just
that's not a bad idea.
You know who else
I mean,
tried
I'm just
that
saying, dude.
solution?
Who?
Hitler.
Oh, and people actually did drop some Hitler on old
Yeah.
Tom Wilkinson. They're like, or wait, what was the context of the Hitler drop? Do any of you remember?
No.
Because someone was like, yeah, well, Hitler tried to do that, you know, or something. And I remember just rolling my eyes so hard, dude. I almost knocked myself
It
out.
was the forced evolution.
Yeah.
And that
that's
hasn't
right.
been done
Talking
since
about
the
the
Nazis.
Yeah, that's right.
But
Fuck.
Hitler also liked eugenics too, so.
Yeah, I mean, if the stakes are that high, I mean, and you're born into the world and you're like, sorry, you're not going to have kids in this lifetime, you know, because the planet's like this. I mean, that makes so much more sense.
Well, and
than
that's
turning
really
into a completely different species of man.
Well, and that's what they missed was that we spent so much time trying to create the illusion of government conspiracy mixed with like creature horror. Like, we tried crossing all these genres so many times that if we had just picked one from the beginning and fleshed it out, right? Give these characters a situation where they can actually give the actors an opportunity to like create some emotion.
Yeah.
Versus what happened was Sam Worthington and fucking Taylor Schilling and Tom, all these guys, all they're doing is like little bits to kind of push the plot along, right? And so what ends up happening is none of us give a shit about fucking any of it.
None of us.
Right? And I'm not an Armageddon fan. Okay, sorry to everybody at home that loves Armageddon. I hate that movie. But what it did right,
They build some character there.
they built the character, right? Like
that's the win.
like
you
Steve
know?
Buscemi, dude. I wanted him to fucking make it.
I know, right?
You know,
yeah.
and the only reason I wanted him to make it in that movie is because they showed him at the titty bar throwing cash everywhere, like
Yeah,
taking
they
out
built
loans
his
and shit,
character.
and like, you know, like talking about like
They made
bras
you
and
feel
stuff.
for him.
Yeah, and I'm like, like Michael Clark Duncan, dude. If he doesn't fucking make it, man, I'm gonna
hurt.
be upset.
Yeah.
Right, but in this, I'm like, okay, if Sam Worthington dies, like, I guess we'll end the movie half an hour earlier than I thought, which ain't a bad thing.
No. Sam Worthington just sucked, man.
He sucked.
You can't feel for him.
No.
How can I like him?
Now, okay, let's throw something out there. Who could have saved it? Who could have been that character? What's his name? Rick?
Rick Grimes?
No, Rick Grimes is Walking Dead.
Yeah.
And Rick Grimes is the fucking man.
Oh, you
He
mean
could have
the-
done that
The
part.
role? There's no saving this movie, man. There's
Well, who
no
could have saved the
saving it.
role?
Actor, like, they got the better actor.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Only-
the question.
But
Maybe
I
a-
mean,
The only way an actor could have saved this movie is just if he looked good.
Matt Damon
doing
could
it.
have saved it, I bet.
Yeah.
Matt Damon.
Dude, everything aside, like, it doesn't matter. You can get someone that you've never fucking heard of. The movie would have been the same.
That's exactly my point.
It doesn't.
Yeah,
Just
there's no.
saving
I'm just
it.
trying to throw it out for
I know.
No
conversation,
one could have
man. I'm
saved
just
because
like,
of what you just said. The whole
Let's-
crossover of genre.
yeah,
and
fuck.
just
Good
pushing
acting
it and,
can't
like,
save bad
no.
writing.
That's absolutely true,
Yeah,
Max.
It just- you can't.
come back.
Yeah.
Tom, what?
Voice of reason. Voice of reason.
He's bad.
It was like 100%
Yes.
Of the badness.
Right. Right. Because like if it was Matt Damon, I guess like if it was Matt Damon, at least
I would
for an
feel
hour and a
bad for
half,
Matt
I'm
Damon.
like okay, at least I'm looking at Matt Damon right now.
Yeah.
I don't even really like Matt.
I would have just
You don't
been.
like-
Not really.
Yeah, no.
I would have
he's
just been wondering like
expressionless.
what Matt Damon needed a paycheck that bad for.
Right.
No way.
For doing that movie.
No, he would never do that.
Touche.
So Tom, I'm curious because I see a lot of notes.
Oh man, what's up?
How many pages?
I got 4.
4 pages. All right, because you said earlier that you wrote down some quotes.
Quotes.
Quotes, Tom. We're talking about quotes.
I think
Our camera went down, so we had to cut real
yeah,
quick.
So the first quote that came, there's something growing inside of him, and that was that line right there.
Who delivered that line? Taylor Schilling.
Probably.
Taylor Schilling.
Yeah,
She
had to
delivered
be.
that line, and like it just made no
Carrie.
sense to me at all. I was like, what
Like
do you mean?
aliens?
There's something growing inside of him.
That line
It's
belonged
like,
in Aliens.
and I remember,
Not
if,
here.
if I remember correctly, there was a point in the story where she knew more than me about this whole genetic enhancement, and she was cool with it. And now all of a sudden, she's like, "There's, yeah, she's totally cool." Folding laundry, like accepting of
And his
this
skin's falling
this
off.
new formation that her husband's gonna take, and blah blah blah. And then
Yeah.
she's like, "There's something growing inside of him," and it's like, "Well, duh."
Yeah, well,
Like, not even that. It's like just the line and the delivery and just the whole reaction to his therapy. I mean, she should have been like taking care of him and like.
Well, and
I don't know, man.
You know
It
what
just was wrong.
It pissed me off because there was one part. Okay, so Taylor Schilling plays Abigail, his wife, who is a pediatrician. Okay, now nothing against all of our terrific pediatrician fans out there. Okay, you're all taking care of our kids. None of us have kids, but you know, if some of us have kids, you will take care of them. Thank you. But I don't think that pediatricians are like super savvy on like genetics and genetic modification. and
She
stuff.
was apparently.
And she
She's
also,
like running tests and
I
shit.
know. I don't want to be super nitpicky,
Yeah.
right?
it,
But
yeah.
like this is when I knew things were bad. They move into the glamour home, okay, the Argentinian or Colombian Beverly Hills, right? And she pulls out her cert from the box, right, from med school, and it says Dr. Abigail, whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's just your name followed by MD. Is that correct?
I don't know.
But I knew at that point, like
You're
when
like,
her
this is
cert
bad.
said
Let me whip
Dr.
out my MD
Abigail
degree.
Blotty blah,
Yeah.
I was like, this is not good.
Like a whole cut just to give you context of who she is.
and then the
It's like
context isn't
forced.
right. Yeah,
Super
and then,
forced.
Yeah, and so then we're like, okay, so the doctor shows up at their house, right? And he's like, "You're so brave because this is gonna get fucked up." And she's like, "I know, but like I believe in him, you know." And like, and Tom Wilkinson's like, "Dude, me too, dude. You know, this is gonna be great." And then they're all in there and they're like, "You're gonna get sick and you're gonna get fucked up and this is
Right.
gonna fucking crazy, right?" And then when those things happen. When they start happening, everybody's like, "Hey, what the fuck is going on and why are we sick?" And it's like, dude, you've
You were
known
told.
this was going to happen
Right.
since the very beginning. And he's like the assistant doctor or whatever. She's like, "Yeah, I'm just gonna give him some magnesium, you know." And she's and then Abigail's like, "How much are you giving him?"
Yeah.
And
She's
she's
like,
like
10 grams.
10 grams, and she's like, "That's too much." And it's like no answer would have been the right answer.
Like-
You're just ready to fight. I know you're tight. Okay.
That's too much. Like, look what's happening to
Yeah,
him. Like,
like-
give him everything.
Give him some fucking magnesium so
Yeah.
he can sleep, for God's sake,
Yeah,
man.
poor
Not spend the
guys.
night in the goddamn pool.
or, or with his hands in ice. You know?
Oh, that was so weird.
What the hell, dude?
So hot all the time.
Because he's
All
so
right.
hot, you know?
A couple other worse lines.
'Kay.
He's resisting because he's attached to too many things on Earth. I thought that line was just terrible.
It was stupid.
Oh, and then there was another one that was just a pearl when they're flying on the plane, and
A pearl.
this one was a fucking pearl, and that I don't know what his character's name is or anything like that. He's like, "Your family is a miracle." I was just like, "Oh my god!" I was ready to break your TV.
I'm glad you didn't.
I know it's an
miracle.
expensive
What
TV,
plane?
but
Yeah, wait. When are
at
they?
the end.
At the end, and he's like, "Your family is a miracle," and he's in that like chamber.
Oh, maybe.
Oh, and they like picked him up from the lake or whatever.
I'm not going
Those
to
are the-
defend the line
Okay, those are my
because it's
top.
a fucking terrible line.
Those lines are terrible.
Terrible. But I think what he means to say is like, you know, your husband's like the only one that made it through the trials that we didn't execute for no reason,
Thank you for
Oh,
saying
yeah.
the
right?
rest of those.
And you like synced up with him at the lake and like let him hold your hand with his tentacles and
he
like you
turned
had a
black for some
moment.
reason.
And
Yeah, were they like sharing information or something?
Yeah, and, like-
Was he
they can't
inseminating
talk.
her?
They were
I don't think so, but what if he was?
Sequel.
Titan 2.
Sequel, dude.
Didn't
Oh,
I say when we
boy.
watched it, I was like, oh, she's pregnant.
You did. You did.
But like the wind was blowing, so you couldn't
Yeah.
see if she had like a baby bump. I for some reason I thought she was gonna be pregnant.
God, I hope that just makes things so much
Just
worse.
making sure you were in the frame.
I
dude.
haven't gone anywhere.
Dude, but it just didn't play, dude.
No,
Like,
it didn't
and
play.
I know what you mean. It made sense to a degree, but like, just to say that at that point in the story, it was like, no, this is so far from a miracle. This is a nightmare. Look at him. Look at him. This is
Can
like
we-
a mad scientist experiment gone terribly wrong.
Yeah, so
He
let's
can't
talk
even
about that.
Talk anymore.
Let's talk about this. Okay, so I was cool with, you know, the little scene of them underwater in the pool, right? Like
Him and the woman.
him and the girl, right?
She's like freaking out.
I don't know who that was. She's
She
one
was
of the
part
other
of the trial.
people.
One of the other
She
people
was like
in
in the
the
military or something.
yeah.
Yeah, so they're like in the pool and they're holding their breaths for a long time.
She's
and
like,
oh my
okay,
god,
and
yeah,
he's
and then
like,
you're like, oh, this is fun, dude. You know,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
but then, you know, where was I going with this? I just got totally sidetracked.
But
Oh
I-
yeah, so they're in the pool. Like, I'm cool with that. Like, show me how they're gonna be able to do these things on Titan, right? Don't take an hour to do it, but like, I'm cool with that montage. Then, like, they do his eyes up so that he can see in the dark because Titan apparently is dark a lot. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. And then, like, his skin starts kind of falling off, and I'm like, well, I mean, the dude's been in the pool for a long time. Like, if I sit in the bath for a long time, I get pruny, dude. Like, I get it. Then he shaves his head, and then he loses his eyebrows, and then they're like, we have one more procedure, right? Now, at this point, he's got some funky eyes. He lost his hair. His skin's falling off.
He's always cold.
Whatever. Okay. Then they go into the OR, right? And he does one surgery, and then he comes out. He doesn't have any fucking ears. He's got wings. He's got a hang glider
Does he have
suit.
gills?
He
too?
has gills. His head is like oddly
his
shaped.
nose
skull
is
is
gone.
changed
His
form.
like head is like this, and he's like real stoic, and like his
That's just the
hands
suit,
are
dude.
Webbed.
like
That was just
this.
the
like
Yeah, he had,
formed
like,
his
lots of
fingers.
He's
little,
like,
fingers.
and then like the unveiling was very unsettling because they're like, it's done. Want to see? And Abigail's like, I mean, I guess, right? And so they go to this glass wall, right? And they flip the light switch, and they're just sitting there. And they had to put him in the most fucking weird outfits. Like, the dude already looks gnarly, dude. Slap a ball cap on him, put him in a hoodie, you know, like maybe put a little powder just to take the tone down a little bit. Like, ease them into this. But no, they put him in like a black tank top with like weird science pants, and they're just like looking at their shit like, what's wrong with me, you know? And he's like looking with this weird gaze, you know, and she's crying. It's like, fuck, dude. What took place in that surgery?
Yeah.
Look at his face. He was like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I am who I am.
throughout the entire movie, that's what his facial expression was like.
That's true.
Ah.
That's true. The whole movie, he's just like, I'm just here for the ride, you know?
Going for it.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
I got no choice now.
But like, Max, explain to me what took place in that operation that took him from like level 4 weird to like level 20 I'm a fucking mutant now.
Yeah.
I
this
don't
up.
know what makes you think I can explain that because I can't explain that.
I don't know. You're
And
just
a
really
lot of the other
smart.
people died during that one. They were the only two that made
Oh
it
yeah.
through.
Oh yeah.
And just weird traumatic.
The way I
moments.
took it
Yeah.
was that they prefaced his wife with like, we got to fix his eyes. His brain can't handle all the sensory information. But
Oh,
that
yeah.
was a ruse because they knew they needed to do all this other shit
Right.
to get him into surgery.
I'm just gonna say one thing. So from the moment where he started breathing underwater, just they had an injection. 3 days later, he's underwater for 42 minutes, and all of a sudden, not even he like beat the world record, and then all of a sudden he starts swimming like like the most
Like a fucking
like
dolphin.
like this insane superhuman. He hasn't gained any muscle or anything. He just can cut through the water like no other man has ever cut through the water before. And
Tom is pissed that this guy's not buffer.
dude, I'm mad. Yeah, because he should have. That's what they showed in the diagrams in the beginning. Like, that's what I'm expecting is like a
Greek
person
god.
to like genetically enhance. But you know,
Captain
he stayed.
America.
He stayed as this like, just kind of like pussy average looking guy, and you know, but he's able to do all these things. Anyways, my point is that yeah, he was hauling ass underwater. And so at that point, I accepted that none of this was going to fucking make sense and this movie sucked from that moment right there. And so when he switched over into Bat Fish Man with no explanation, he had some tubes on. I thought they were fixing his eyes. And all of a sudden, his skin starts changing. And I was like, oh, that looks cool. And then what he changed into, I'm like, oh, my God. None of it made sense.
No.
It was this huge jump. There was nothing explaining it. There was nothing redeeming about it at all. Like, as far as, like, you know, giving the viewer some idea of something that happened. Anywho, my point is that that spot didn't bother me because I knew what I was going to get when we got to that point because of his transformation into Aquata, whatever, like Superman, you know?
But
like,
also-
Homo Titanus or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Homo Titanus.
Homeo Titanus.
Yeah, Homo Titanus.
But
I think he was just trying
also
to show off at that point.
after
Yeah.
that surgery, he magically put on like 20 pounds of muscle.
yeah, I
After
mean,
the
like
surgery.
Yeah, he
He
was
was
just like
thick.
magically wider.
yeah, none of it makes any sense.
It's a lot of padding.
And here's honestly, here's what I think happened because we have a first time writer. Okay, this guy Max Hurwitz or whatever.
oh, this is his first.
He's written like
I'll fight
TV
him.
and some like shorts and stuff, but like it's him and the director's first major motion picture, right?
Well,
And so
Don't
I'm
give-
trying to like
I'm
think.
not.
Don't give him a
I'm
pass.
I feel bad
I'm not
for
giving him a.
though.
I'm not giving
I
him
thought
a
about
pass.
it.
Michael
but I'm
was
not.
thinking about
I was
it.
like, eh.
But like, here's what I think occurred to give us these huge plot holes and the intertwining of all these different genres, right? Is that like, because the other thing, it goes unexplained why they go through this transformation so quick, right? Mm-hmm. And they assume we put it together because like that's just the shots they're getting, right? Mm-hmm. Another thing is like when things start going wrong, right? And like the guy like freaks out and like hits his wife, you know, and they kill him.
Yeah.
Right. And then the doctor dude is like in the hot seat with his, you know, the people funding it.
Yeah.
Right. And the guy funding it is like, what are you doing? Like changing these guys' genetic makeup. Like you can't play God. And it's like, bro. And he's like,
you think
I'm
was gonna
doing it so
happen?
we can survive. And it's like, how on earth
And-
do they not know what is happening? And even if that is the
NASA or
case,
something they were
It was
talking
NASA.
to?
The
Yeah.
guy was from NASA.
Yeah.
but my point is like, what?
no, I know.
Why would he be like? Because he took the same stance as the wives.
Yeah.
Right. Of like, why is this happening? And he's like, dude, I fucking told you. So here's what I think is causing that. You got a first time writer, right? And he's like, he'll get like 10 to 15 minutes down the plot and then be like, oh fuck, I gotta also like make sure we address that. And so then he'll throw a scene in and then he's like 10 minutes later he's like, oh fuck, there should be some contention because like these things shouldn't just like go smooth, right? Okay, so what could be a threat to, you know, doctor whatever the fuck? Oh yeah, if we yank his funding, right? And then they're like, yeah, we're going to yank your funding. And he's like, don't do that. I've already started. And they're like, okay, go ahead and finish, right? And then like 10 minutes later, they're like, okay, we need more contention. What could it be? Let's have Abigail flip out, right?
Yeah.
And it's like every 10 minutes, they're like throwing something in because they feel like without it, it's not going to move. When really the problem from the beginning is that they're telling the wrong story.
Yeah, and
It's
there's-
a cool fucking concept, but they're telling the wrong side of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and we just don't care about the characters. I don't care about the husband or the wife. Yeah, I mean, they just tried
We
to
did.
accomplish. They tried to accomplish way too much. I feel like, or way too little, and they tried to like. They just picked the. I don't know, man. I just wanted them. I thought we were gonna get on Titan and things were gonna go wrong. And, you know, we were going to go through, like, this change, and they were going to be all right, and there's going to be, like, 3 or 4 that were still alive, and then they ended up on Titan. And, we had this whole scene of things there, and then the wives are all crying because they're looking at their life monitors from Earth, and they're like dying because they're not adapting right. And, it was
that's fucked up. I'd watch that movie.
That would have been more dramatic.
I want that.
That would have been more
Yes.
dramatic.
like an hour of what we got and then tack it on to the end.
Yes,
That's
exactly.
what I wanted.
Yeah,
Yeah.
take out all kinds of crap there in the
Yeah.
middle.
Yeah.
What happened to that blonde girl that all of a sudden they're at the party?
She got
and
murdered, didn't she?
Oh yeah,
She just all of a sudden her
Her
throat's
husband got her,
bloody.
threw
and
her out the window or
she's-
yeah.
something.
Her husband threw her out of a plate glass window.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Everyone
because
was, a lot of people were
he
getting
already
murdered.
had
Yes.
like anger issues, and then they
He was the one that
used.
flipped
No,
out
a
the
different,
party, right?
different girl then. A girl that was a part of the experiment, or
The other
the
doctor
assistant?
that
The
looked like she
assistant
belonged in
doctor?
San
there
Junipero.
was a woman that her throat was all cut up at one point, kind of towards the beginning. It was like one of the first things,
I don't
one of the
remember
first
that.
people to go.
Shum.
Oh, I don't know.
Anyways,
Can we go back
I
to
just
the
don't-
doctor guy? Because in that scene, I was like, why is this old ass man talking to this NASA guy like a child? Because he was like, you guys just need to catch up, and I'm doing better than you. So why are you pulling my funding? Just because I'm doing better? Just because I'm actually
oh,
doing
God.
it?
Terrible,
Oh,
terrible
dude.
dialogue.
And then you
Just
want to
awful.
And then you want to
fucking
follow it up
hated
with
it.
something that would never happen, right? So they're doing the little FaceTime video chat, right?
Oh,
and then
yeah.
he's like, and the
Conference
NASA guy's
room.
like, fine. Well, just keep going then. And Tom Wilkinson's like, that's right, bitch, shut up. And then the general dude is
Yeah.
like, guess what? You're not doing this shit in my army zone anymore.
Yeah.
And then the other guy that's with the doctor
like,
takes
right,
his
own it.
phone, right? And he's like, oh, yeah? Well, you can call NATO then and see what they have to say. And I'm like, okay, hold
fucking
on.
base.
Do you really think this other dude, first of all, doesn't have a fucking cell phone of his own?
Right,
Like,
right.
you could just,
A
like, would that ever
BlackBerry,
happen? Like,
nonetheless.
would I ever be like, oh, yeah, Tom? Why don't you just call him then?
Yeah, and
No, I would never do that. I'd say, Tom, call him. And you'd be like, okay,
It
cool.
was just another perfect example of them building contention and drama just for no fucking reason. Like he
Right.
doesn't know his place with his base. He doesn't know, like,
your
it's like
butthole
that
falls
guy
out.
for sure knows who, like, what he has control over, like what moves he can make, you know. And they just throw that little line in there because someone thought that they needed to make that scene a little more dramatic. Or they were like, dude, this is terrible and we need to just like keep adding drama and maybe it'll be good.
Maybe they were just way under in the runtime,
Yeah.
and they're like, "Fuck, we got to do another scene." But here's
who
another
knows?
thing, dude.
I
Let's
would
talk
hate
about the
that.
fucking end, where
Oh, God.
Okay, so Sam Worthington's the only one that made it, right? And
I guess they shot that other.
they shot the other girl because
Yeah.
she was
Let's
just
shoot
acting a
$3
little
million in the
suspicious.
face.
Yeah, and then like she starts inching towards them.
Oh yeah,
and then
toward the guards.
yeah, and then they try to sedate her.
Yeah.
and then she fucking murks him.
Yeah.
Maybe don't try and sedate her. Maybe just like, you got cameras everywhere. Just watch. Let's see what happens here. Right? Because like we
Watch
just
her,
we
watch her.
finally made it. Right? Let's just
Observe it,
Let's see
maybe?
what goes on.
Step back. They're just so
Why
ready
let
to
them
kill
go
it.
home in the first place?
Right.
They're so ready to kill.
Yeah, that
their-
was weird.
Oh,
What do you
dude.
say? Like they're
Oh, yeah.
300
You
$3
don't
million
know
or
how they're
three
talking.
hundred
Tom's
million
pissed about
Oh,
this.
man.
dollar experiment, something
Right.
like that.
I wrote.
Why let them
Fuck
go
out.
home?
Yeah,
You already
went
had him in the
home
box.
to
Update your
spe-
paychecks.
He went home to spend the night with his wife right after he changed into this freak of a human being, bat creature.
No
and she's
observation
like,
time.
it's like, what the? Yeah, no observation time. And, you know, he's there. He can't communicate. He's like, and it's like dark in the house. He's still in the bedroom. He's trying so hard, you know, but like he shouldn't be there. They
No,
should-
dude.
They should
And the
be-
wife
he
would
should be in a
never be
tank.
like, okay, yeah, come home. She'd be like,
No.
get that fucking thing the hell out of my house.
Yeah, she was
Right.
she was trying so hard, but
Yeah.
it just did not play.
No,
it's just
no.
not realistic
No.
at all.
So they come home,
Cameras
right?
in the house or not?
No, dude.
Right?
It doesn't work. It
It
doesn't
just
work.
doesn't work. It's just not what's going to happen. The
Right.
wife's not going to respond like that to that creature.
No.
I forgot about the whole scene where like she figured out there were cameras. I was like,
Dumb.
cool.
Why?
Yeah. And
Why
then
is
she's
this
like,
here?
there's cameras in my house.
Well,
and it's
duh.
like,
It's like you're
yeah,
in a military house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not even your home.
You're on a fucking
know?
military base. Of course
Yeah.
we have and then
Right.
Dr. Tom Wilkinson, fucking whatever his goddamn name is, he's like, well,
let's-
that was the CIA's idea. Okay,
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
not my idea.
Yeah, let's touch on
The
that.
CIA did that.
Let's touch on the privacy
So we
thing.
got fucking
Yeah.
NASA, NATO, the CIA, fucking some kind of homeowners association in Colombia, for God's sakes, right? 3 different branches of the military. Like, God, how many cooks do we have in the kitchen right now?
Too many.
Fuck.
How many genres do
I was
we
gonna say
have?
that
Fuck.
just as many genres. Yeah.
Just as many genres.
Okay,
as we
so-
have cooks.
They kill the girl,
Yeah.
right? Taffy or whatever the fuck. I don't think her name's
Taffy?
Taffy, but
Is that a stripper
a
name?
Telly, Taffy, Tally,
I don't know.
Tabby.
It is Tally.
Callie.
Taffy was not far off.
I just want to forget this movie.
Okay, so
We're
they
so
kill
close,
her,
though.
and then
We're so close.
Sam Worthington runs up to his favorite spot. You know, the lake.
Oh, the lake. Yeah.
He goes to his spot. She's like, I know where he'll be. You know, and then she runs up after him, and then she's like, hey, don't hide. Hey, excuse me, where are you?
you're here.
And then he's like,
Yeah. Slowly.
and
up
she's
the
like,
hill.
there you are. You know, oh my
Yeah.
God, thank God, like
Oh.
you're here. And then she
Mistake
like
you for
goes
the other
up and she
creature.
like does
Yeah.
this and he does this and the things go right. And then she's like, I get it now. I'm with you again.
She
I know
turns
you look like a
black.
freak.
Why
Yeah,
does she
she's-
turn
her
black?
Skin's
He was
fading into
communicating
black.
with her somehow because I think they said it at some point that they're
Tactile
not
They do.
gonna be able
communication.
to.
They
yeah.
communicate through
Tactile.
tactile. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's why
So
he like put his hand on the glass. And he's like trying to tell her
Yeah, he's
something,
like,
but she's like,
"Hey."
no.
Yeah,
and
she's like,
She
"Fuck
didn't
no."
and then
want to.
she finally
She
touched
didn't want to
him.
put her hand on the glass, but she let him sleep in
Yeah.
her bed at that night. Right afterwards, she wouldn't even go touch the glass.
Touche.
But she was. They were
Touche.
sleeping together that night,
Right.
man.
And then
So
then
bad.
the tentacles were
Yeah.
like wrapping around her.
And I bet she was
Impregnating
fine with
her.
it. Like she got into it and then realized he had a bump now.
I know.
Oh,
He
he's
didn't tell they were
Kendall.
gone.
Oh man.
He's a Ken doll.
He was a Ken doll.
So anyway, so they meet up at the lake.
Batfish
They
Kendall.
communicate, and then they get to this. They get to this military standoff, right? And they're like, okay, so he's in this glass cage thing, and they're like, okay, you need to put him to sleep so that we can throw him on the ship and shoot him up there, right? And I'm like, okay. So here's the setup. You got this like toolbox full of three things, and 2 things only. You've got saline, right? And then you've got the sleepy solution that will also erase his memory. Because what we should do is, okay, so that's the setup. Okay, you've got 2 different substances to administer, right? You can choose.
Yeah.
Okay.
No one's watching her
And-
pick
and-
the
and
right thing, or
plan-
they're not loading it for her.
Right. Plan
'Cause
A.
She's a pediatrician. She knows how to load
Yeah, she
Right.
knows how
that
to use
device.
the
But even
fucking-
pull back even further. Pull back
gun.
even further and realize that what we're doing is we're saying, okay, plan A. We take this fucking freak that we created in a traumatic, fucked up way, and we're gonna erase his memory, right?
lobotomize
And then we're
him.
gonna shoot him into space, hope he lands on Titan, and then open the door and say, cruise the streets, man, see what's out there. So imagine you're this
Yeah.
fucking guy, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, they put you asleep. And then you wake up and you're on Titan, right? And you look at your hands and you're like, the fuck just happened to me? And then you look down and you're like, where's my dick? And then you fucking, where am I? Here. No, he doesn't remember.
Right.
But he's got to remember he's human.
No.
Well, let's just say he is, right? And he opens the door and then he's on this rocky, dark, desolate, empty place
Alone, yeah.
by himself. What the fuck does that achieve?
No, exactly. Like at that point when he's like in the glass thing and they're trying to get her to erase his memory, they literally think that this plan still has a chance
Right.
to save the human race.
Right.
That doesn't make sense. That does not play at all.
And then
That
plan
is not
B.
reality.
And then plan B, if like at the last minute they're like, you know what, fuck plan A, man, let's go plan B. Let's just shoot him up with some saline real quick and watch nothing happen.
Wait, what?
Why?
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 Why would there fucking be saline?
Oh, I was like, where's the question
Yeah,
here?
no, oh yeah. The
that's
different
their.
drugs,
That's their.
yeah.
Why have the 2 there? That's plan A is fucking shoot him up with this shit, erase his
Saline.
memory, send him off, wishing him well. Why saline?
Why saline?
Why even
Why
have it?
saline? I'll tell you why.
just
Because
like, why is
we've
it
got.
there?
We need a way for her to pull a fast one.
Yeah.
And shoot
The
him.
way
She's
out.
like, all right, I'll do it. Okay. I'll give him a virtual lobotomy. Okay. So and she's like,
Yeah.
I dropped it. Hold on.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, I did it. All right, good luck. You know, and then they're like, good job. And they're not like, hey, what did she drop? And they're like, don't worry about what she dropped, you know? And then finally a military dude's like, all right, I'm going to go in there now because he got put to sleep.
Yeah.
And then he goes in there and he's like, yeah, this seems all right. You know,
She
this
like
seems
tells
cool.
the other girl doctor like we need to.
Yeah, and then she's like,
Trust me, we need to go.
by the way, I dropped the real one. And I picked up the saline, though, and I put that in, and then guess what?
That's all
I
the
shot
guns
him
are
with the
telling
saline, so we gotta fucking go, dude.
I mean, and then just being like, hey, we
like,
gotta go
what the
says
fuck?
all
dude?
of it.
What are we doing?
Yeah, what are
So he freaks out, right? He fucking murks everybody. And then, like, they run into a dark room, even though it's, like, midday, you know? And then he's like, hold on. And then he's, like, got his night vision eyes, right? And then he's running through. And then they end up in this standoff, right? And all the military shows up with their guns, you know? And the kid's like, Dad. And he's like, come here, son, you know? And all of a sudden, the son's totally cool with it, right?
Oh,
And
yeah.
then they're standing there, and Tom Wilkinson's like, hey, we got you, okay?
We'll kill
so
all of
either
you.
you guys leave, right? Or we're killing all of you, you know, including Sam Worthington, because he just roughed up some army dudes. And then they're like, and then she has the wonderful line of, go fuck yourself.
She
Way to
said
stick
that?
him. She says,
I don't remember that part.
he's like, those are your options. And she goes, go fuck yourself. And he's like, fine, kill him, right? Which is, based on what we know, is extremely out of character for Tom
Exactly. 'Cause
Wilkinson.
he wants
would
to keep
never, ever do that.
Right.
Right, but we need a climax, right? And so all the guns go, they're like all on the kid and the wife and
Yeah,
Sam
and then
Worthington,
they-
right? And then the general's like, we do not kill innocent women or innocent children.
Oh, that's what happened.
Yeah.
I've been sitting here like trying to remember.
And then
who
Tom
the fuck
Wilkinson's
told
like,
him
are you
not to?
guys full of shit? You shitting me, dude? Kill those people. Right then, the general points his gun at fucking Tom Wilkinson.
Right.
And then when he does that, all his soldiers do that. And it makes this huge dramatic sound. And I'm like, the fuck is going on, dude? This is not
this is
how this would
so
happen.
It's like a
stupid.
musical.
Yeah, it was like, he's like pointed at the family, and then it's like, okay, if you're not going to kill him, why do you have guns on him? Right? You point your weapon in when you're ready to shoot, okay? Everybody knows that's very basic firearm safety, right? So they got all these guns on them. They got no problem having guns on them. Why are you going to have guns on them? Because you're going to fucking shoot him, right? And then he's like, shoot him. And then he's like, we're going to shoot you instead. And then everyone else is like, and it goes, right? And then all of a sudden, and then he's like, well, fine, fuck you then, you know? And then that's it.
Yeah, but
That's
the,
the
just
climax.
for
And
me,
it's cut.
And then it cuts.
There's no resolution.
None.
Yeah, for me though, that scene, why it was so annoying is it's something that you've seen so many times before in so many movies, and if you have examples out there, comment of this exact scene playing out in a dozen different films where they, you know, everyone has a change of heart and turns on, you know, the leader in the last minute. And it just doesn't work here at all for
Right.
them to just like all of a sudden they're like, it just doesn't work. It's insane, and that's why it was so uncomfortable for me. And I'm just rolling my eyes. I'm just like begging for it to be over. I'm checking the time to see how much longer I have to watch this shit. And, you know, it's just one of those moments, just like the plot twist with the saline, just like them all having a change of heart with their entire purpose of life. They're in the military. We don't know anything about any of those characters. And all of a sudden, we know that the military leader for 1 second in the conference room when he's like, oh, I'm not going to let you guys do this at my base. That's all we know about him and his character, and he has this big change of heart. It was like this big moment, but he has no arc in character, no build or anything for that moment to make sense. And it's just like, Jesus Christ, this writer is just copying so many different movies right now. She's chopping some bullshit together. Honestly, this movie is really hard for me to talk about because it makes me so mad and critical. It's like I'm just in a bad mood talking about it.
I know, dude.
Like,
It was just like so many characters were in this movie to do one thing to
Yeah.
drive the plot forward.
No,
That's
nobody
all
needed to
they-
be there.
That was their entire purpose for
No.
being in the movie.
yeah,
It could have just been the professor, what's his name, Sam Worthington, and then Taylor Schilling. Like, that's it.
because
That's all you need.
That's
Could've
like
been.
all they really
And the
had,
kid.
Right.
You know, and they just try to throw all this
That's
other
it.
stuff in there to like add layers to
Yeah.
the story, and they just drop the ball so hard. And they should have just built those main characters more.
Yeah.
But
Could have
they
replaced
just-
the son with a dog and
You
it
know,
would have
but
been
they
better.
spent fucking millions on their
I would have cared about him more.
on the
That
you know
is true.
CGI and the sets
That is
and
true.
stuff. You
Yeah.
know, but I just can't believe how much money they put into this thing. It's insane.
Was it a lot?
We don't. I couldn't find the budget
Just take a
because
I
it's
mean,
a Netflix
Netflix
thing,
film.
so it's not on IMDb or anything.
man, as it shouldn't.
At least
be.
the budget's not.
Pretty kind of expensive.
Oh, it's expensive. I would say 10 million, maybe
Yeah.
20.
Maybe 20. Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, just
Oh,
to pay
yeah.
the cast.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
We'll see if we can find it. It's and obviously it didn't have a box office, but well, I think it hit theaters in the UK, but definitely not here.
Yeah,
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know Netflix movies were hitting theaters.
Well, they produced it as a movie and then overseas released it theatrically, but here it was obviously straight to DVD.
yeah,
Yeah.
They don't even press the fucking thing; they just put it on Netflix.
Theatrically in the UK in April 13th.
Boom.
But like so many pieces of this movie gave me the impression that in the writer's room or in production, they were just like, it's a sci-fi movie. We don't have to explain it. We can just do it and fuck them. Which is like, it pisses me off because I love sci-fi movies.
Yeah.
And it was just such an affront to people who like really enjoy the genre.
Well, that and I think like sci-fi when you go into it, I mean, because there are a million sci-fi movies out there, and 10% are legitimately great films.
Yeah.
Right.
There's a lot of garbage out there.
You go into most sci-fi flicks knowing like, okay, this is gonna be sci-fi. It's
out
gonna
there,
be
far-fetched.
campy. It's gonna be goofy and
Which
like,
is
but
a bummer because
but-
it can be such great storytelling.
but like Battle Los Angeles, for example, right? Like by all measures, it's not a good movie, but I love that movie.
I kind of enjoyed it.
Yeah. It's like a really cool premise. It's done really well. The style's good. Aaron Eckhart's awesome. But
I didn't expect to like it, but
right.
I did.
But like my point is that a lot of times you go into sci-fi with a lot of give. Like
Yeah.
I'm gonna be so
Same
forgiving.
with horror movies.
Oh,
too.
totally.
Yeah.
Right. But
True that.
but then there's some where you're like, dude, what? So it's not that it was bad that pissed me off. It was that it could have been awesome, but it wasn't, and that's what really grinds my gears.
Yeah.
So all right, let's go around the horn with our final thoughts. That was my final thought. Mike, what do you got, man?
Do I have to?
You don't. You don't, man.
I don't.
Did you find that budget or what?
No.
But
But it
not
did
out
get
there.
a 16% on Rotten Tomatoes, which
Yeah, which is high.
It's dropping. It's dropping.
I give
It
a
was like
thumbs up to that
23
rating,
Yeah.
for sure.
a little while ago.
I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know. I didn't chime in a lot because I really didn't have a lot to say, to be honest. And I'm glad Tom was so worked up because I'm just in apathy about
man.
it. Like, I could care less. I will never watch it again. I'll tell people forever and always, like, oh yeah, that movie sucked. Don't watch it. Because there's so many other good sci-fi movies out there that it's not worth the hour and a half or hour 40 minutes to like waste. Not even on the background.
Nope.
I wouldn't play it and just like be on my phone.
Nope.
Just not worth it.
Nope.
That's it.
Tom.
Final thoughts. Damn, those costumes really sucked. 2048.
I do-
They dress just like us. And how many times did what's her face change her outfit in the first 15 minutes of
We
the
just
movie?
now learning this.
You know?
Yeah.
Like
Who?
it's unbelievable. What's her
Taylor
name?
Schilling.
Taylor Schilling.
Oh,
Abigail.
She was on outfit number 9.
I didn't notice
like
that.
15 minutes in, and yeah, she was wearing these big baggy pants and these unidentifiable shoes.
Yeah, I know.
I honestly did like the retro look of that one doctor lady.
Anyways.
Oh yeah, she looked good.
Yeah, I liked her.
I know what you're talking about.
I liked her. She was nice.
So
Yeah.
I'm still going on my final thoughts. Hang on. Jesus. Anyways, so the outfits, we didn't talk about that. That is the final thought. I thought they really, really dropped the ball on, the design there. And it was just a point that needed to be made. Honestly, I know there was we talked a lot about what could have made this movie better, and it would have been better if it was like this or if it was like that. I don't think anything could have really saved this movie that much. I mean, so many things needed to change for this movie to be good, and one of those things was the final form that he took as this bat creature thing.
Batfish.
That final
Batfish.
this bat fish thing with the bat DNA, that final form that he took was just so terrible for me to watch. And gosh, I mean, it was just so far. I don't know why they had to take it so far, why couldn't he have at least a little more resemblance of a human being?
Why couldn't
you
he
know
talk?
what I mean? Why couldn't he talk?
Why did he have tentacles?
You know?
Coming out of.
Why do
his
you have no
finger-
eyebrows?
Where did the
fingernails?
tentacles come
I
from?
don't know,
Why
but
did
they
he
came out of
lose his
fingers.
dick?
Yeah, where
Where does dick go?
Where does dick go? How is the human race supposed to continue without a dick on Titan? You know what I
On his
mean?
little tentacles?
Like
Tentacles.
Right?
I mean, Avatar. They had. Oh, maybe
So-
he just ripped off that from Avatar, from like the
Yeah.
little hair tentacle things.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Maybe I don't know.
You know, so it
Pissed
just didn't
about
make
his dick.
sense, man. The final thoughts.
Didn't make sense.
It didn't make sense,
It didn't.
and it was really disappointing and very painful to watch. And I'm done.
Max.
Oh wait, one more thing.
Okay, Tom.
Why did he sound like fucking Batman on some of those lines in there? He sounded like Christian fucking Bale. And
Who?
it-
Sam Worthington?
Sam Worthington. Why?
I didn't get Batman.
I didn't
it
either.
sounds like Batman. Ha ha ha.
Well, he was
What?
turning into part bad. I don't know.
Like, I mean, but
I
yeah,
don't
you know, like, I mean, does that play on screen? No.
I didn't even
Doesn't.
catch it.
Anyway, I'm done.
I almost want to like go back now and just try and pick up on the Christian
No.
Bale, but I can't do it.
Dude, it's bad.
I'm taking
No.
your word for it, Tom.
Dude, you
Jesus.
can't see this. Forget that you saw this movie.
I'm gonna
Jeremy.
try.
Forget.
So you're giving it some hard thumbs down.
Oh, man.
Hard.
I hated it so much.
Maxwell.
I'll give it this. I watched this movie 2 months ago, maybe more, and I still remember so much of it. That's how bad it was.
That says,
That says a lot.
Yeah.
There's so much. Like, I walked in tonight and we were about halfway through, and I still remembered every part because it was that bad.
And you were pissed we hadn't finished it yet.
Oh, I was so pissed.
Because that means you had to watch more.
I'd rather watch an orphanage burn to the ground
Does
than watch this movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Damn.
That's fucked up.
Does that
Fuck.
say something though? Is like that it's so bad that it's memorable?
I mean,
I
yeah.
remember a lot of bad scenes and bad. movies.
I still remember where I was when Princess Diana died.
Dude.
That was bad.
In this moment, my
That's
brain
true.
is
11.
erasing it. Like
9/11?
it's forcing it out of my mind.
I
That's
guess
not a bad
it could
thing.
I'm
be
like
considered
letting
like
it
a
go.
traumatic movie experience where it's
Yeah.
like you know exactly where you were, what you were doing, what was going through your mind. Like,
Yeah, this movie was 9/11.
yeah.
Holy shit.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's a great example.
Yeah.
I know exactly what I was doing when I
Yeah.
heard about the terrorist attack.
Yeah.
Still,
So I guess here at Flix and Six, we're comparing this to traumatic
Oh, can
experiences like the death of Princess Di and 9/11.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Wow.
fuck,
Ooh, I don't
I
know
didn't
if I
mean
was
for
gonna
us
say, yeah,
to take it there.
Yeah.
I
I
didn't
feel like
think
people
you
are
were
going to want to
reiterate
watch
that,
it
but okay.
though.
You can zoom
Like-
in on my face when I say that. That's
Yeah,
fine.
Yeah,
I was
we'll
gonna
cut
say,
we'll cut all of us out
Yeah.
and focus on Max.
I don't
This is
wanna
what
be
happens when we
associated
let
with
Max on camera.
It's fine.
It's
fine.
I just hope no one's like intrigued to watch this
Because of
because
what
how
we
much
said.
we hated it. You know, they're like, "Oh my god, I got to see this thing because it sucks so bad."
Well,
These
what are you
guys
gonna tell
hated
them
so
about it
much."
then?
There's some people
Just
that would do that.
just forget the name, forget this podcast. Just subscribe to the next ones because I hope you enjoyed. But just forget Titan exists.
And I
okay?
think
well,
that's
the next one is going to
yeah.
be another
there's
bash
no
fest.
next. No one's putting any money into this.
Oh, you meant next like Titan. I thought you meant
Oh,
our
no.
next podcast.
Oh, no.
Oh, that's
I'll
what I
be
thought
like,
too.
yeah.
I was like, damn, Tom.
Yeah, I was like, I mean, we
you
all
picked
watched
this.
it.
I'm out of here, man.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah, that's what I thought.
No way. That's
we
not what I
voted
mean.
for it too, so it's
Yeah.
like kind of on us.
Yeah,
too.
we did choose this.
I didn't choose this.
Yeah, you
I
did.
chose it.
You
Yeah.
voted for the same things I voted for.
The trailer.
It got me. I agree.
They did a good job with the trailer.
Yeah, it
For
was
the
like
most part.
all
I
the cool
knew
parts.
At one point, I was like, I'm probably not going to like this, but it might be interesting. I didn't know I was going to fucking hate it, though.
Yeah.
Well,
It
that's
just-
the consensus.
Yeah, that's
we
it.
fucking hate this movie.
I didn't vote for this.
No, Max didn't vote. Max just showed up.
Because
Sorry.
Carrie's supposed to be in the shot.
Yeah, and Carrie's going to be here in the coming weeks. We're going to get her on something awesome. Yeah, she wanted
Yeah.
to see kind of how it goes.
Learn a lot though.
Yeah.
Blame
There you
you.
go.
Take notes.
Yep.
And
Take
I'm gonna
notes.
be totally honest with you guys. As soon as he started swimming really fast, I was on Instagram.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Carrie says
This-
that as soon as he started swimming really fast in the
Watching
pool, she
Beyonce's
pulled up
IG
Instagram.
story.
Yeah.
That's-
I was just like,
I had that urge.
Oh,
I
it's
had
bad.
it.
awful.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
I mean,
But,
I did it a couple of points, but
If I would have like taken notes though, I probably
Yeah.
watched the whole thing and I would have just done like Tom.
Yeah. If she had taken notes, she'd
just
have 4
tear it to
pages
shreds.
like Tom.
Yeah.
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 Sometimes it happens.
Totally.
Next week it'll happen again.
That's
Stay
right.
tuned.
Stay tuned.
I feel
All right,
like
you guys.
next week's going to be a bad one, too.
It might be.
Aquaman.
No.
Yes.
No.
I can't review
Did you
that
change
movie.
it?
Yeah. Next week is Roma. It's on the thing.
No, next week is
Roma.
Aquaman. The week after is Roma. I literally just looked at it today.
Well, that changed.
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah, and we're probably not going to do Aquaman.
Thank God.
Yeah, because Cassidy's coming back. Cassidy's going to be
2
our
weeks
fourth
from
full-time
today.
host. She'll be back, so we're going to get her in the studio, and we're going to talk about Bandersnatch again with her and kind of...
Tell the viewers who Cassidy is.
Cassidy was... she's our dear friend. We love Cassidy to death. And she was on our original podcast called Cracked Mirror, where we only reviewed Black Mirror episodes, which is something that we're going to do at Flix and Six as well.
Yes.
But Cassidy moved back to Boston for a little while, and she's now moving back. And so she's going to be our fourth full-time host, and she is incredible.
Yeah.
And so we're going to have guests on the show all the time. Like Carrie's going to be on the show. My girlfriend Mariah will be back. We're trying to maybe get Tommy's wife Mandy on the show someday. We've had Max's girlfriend Katie on the show. So we're going to have guests.
My
right?
brother,
We're going to have
Oh my
and
God.
your dad,
maybe.
Dr.
Dr.
Tom.
Tom.
My brother looks just like
Adam Driver. Yeah, Adam Driver will be in the studio. But Cassidy's
It's
coming.
pretty cool.
We're very excited to have Cassidy back, and then you'll have the full-time Flix and Six crew.
Yeah.
Max will be running the controls, and occasionally we'll get him on camera, even though he did compare this movie to 9/11, which was a
Deservedly
bit-
so. Fuck this movie.
God, that's a very strong opinion.
It's
I
strong.
feel like I need to leave.
I
It's
like,
still
I like
fresh.
where you're going with that, though. You know,
You're
Like,
committed.
I feel it. I feel that.
He's committed.
I don't give a fuck.
I like that he owns it.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
just
I
going with
appreciate
it.
the passion,
Yeah.
but
So,
Goddamn.
anyways, we're going to wrap this thing up, okay? Because
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about it
All right,
anymore.
all right.
So, if you liked what you saw, like and subscribe to the channel. We're going to have social media going as soon as Cassidy gets back. Once she gets back, we'll have all our stuff online so you can like and share and do all that fun stuff
learn more about us.
and learn more about us. So, that's our take on the fucking terrible movie, The Titan. I'm Jeremy Miller.
Michael Harness.
Tommy Lagan.
Max Capper.
We'll catch you guys on the next one.